Time can break your heart, and if I had the chance, we never have to part.
Welcome to the 2013 British Columbia Hockey Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. Please join us this evening as we celebrate the rich history of hockey in British Columbia. As part of this evening's ceremony, we will induct this year's entrants into the British Columbia Hockey Hall of Fame. Nancy Wilson, Mark Recchi, Paul Correa, Mark Crawford, Colin Patterson, and the 93-94 and 94-95 Kamloops Blazers. An important part of the evening will include our fundraising efforts for Canuck Place in Vancouver. This hospice serves children and their families from all over British Columbia at a very difficult time in their lives. Thank you all for attending this evening, and we hope you will enjoy the British Columbia Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Your host for this evening is famed broadcaster and member of BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Mr. Bernie Pascal. And the master of ceremonies for this evening, well-respected hockey executive and TSN broadcaster, Mr. Dennis Bayak. Please join together and welcome Mr. Bernie Pascal.
Thank you very much. Dennis, how did you get called an executive? Who wrote the script? Welcome to a special night. We all have an insatiable interest in hockey, and that's why we are here tonight. Tonight, we celebrate excellence in the game of hockey. We're all cognizant of the passion, the dedication, the commitment, and the exceptional achievements exemplified in the hockey world by our BC Hockey Hall of Fame 2013 inductees. Give them a nice round of applause. I'd like to extend, as chairman of the selection committee, a special thank you to members of the selection committee, and also a special thank you to Executive Director Bruce Judd. We'll honor an exceptional group tonight, and like to thank you for supporting the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. On just a sad note, the hockey world lost some special people in 2013. A great friend and coach at the Okanagan Hockey School. He coached 14 years in the National Hockey League. He also coached 3 Canadian Olympic teams, winning a cherished gold medal in Salt Lake City in 2002. We are all saddened with the death of Wayne Fleming after a battle with brain cancer. Our deepest condolences to his wife Carolyn and to the Fleming family. And who can forget the World Championship team of 1955, the Penticton V's, in the building just next to us. A lot of history there, and a key member of that team, and a wonderful man. He came to these functions almost yearly. He passed away a little over 2 months ago. The hockey community is saddened with the death of Kevin Crusher Conway. And we must not forget the passing of Stompin' Tom Connors. We've all tapped our toes to the famous hockey song. Yes, the good old hockey game. They're all to be missed. And please bow your heads just for a moment in memory of them. A few special thanks tonight. Thanks to Perseus Wine for their generosity for the cocktail party. We didn't get this glow naturally. Acknowledge the ongoing support of George Melville and Jim Treleving and Boston Pizza have been with us since day one. And we welcome this year TSN as associate presenting sponsors. Would you give them a nice round of applause, please? And a special thanks to our associate partners, the Vancouver Sun and the province. Tomorrow in the Vancouver Sun, there will be an ad saluting all the 2013 inductees. And in Sunday's Vancouver province, they'll also select and salute the 2013 inductees. We thank the Penticton Lakeside Resort and Casino Hotel, the Vancouver Canucks, Molson, Sutton Place Hotel Vancouver, Penticton Herald, Sun FM, and Perseus Wine. Now, it's my pleasure, after 21 years of hosting and emceeing this event, it's nice to have TSN with us this year, and I'd like to welcome tonight's Master of Ceremonies from TSN, Dennis Bayak. Dennis, come on up.
Thank you, Bernie. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I'd like to call up the founder of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. Please welcome Scott Carter.
"22 years ago, we started the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, and one of the very first things that I thought to do is that we needed to get some credibility for the Hall of Fame, and I asked Bernie Pascal to get involved with us. Bernie came on board and said yes, and it was maybe the best thing that we ever did at the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. He's worked diligently for the past 21 years running this event, and Bernie, we just want to let you know that starting next year that we're going to start the BC Hockey Hall of Fame Bernie Pascal Media Award, which will be given out to a deserving member of the hockey media that's either born in BC or works here in British Columbia. Bernie.
Thanks, Scott. It is a pleasure for Ray Ferraro and I to host this event on behalf of TSN. And if anyone knows where Ray Ferraro might be, please send him up to the front. If anybody's seen him around Penticton, he is not here, so playing the part of Ray Ferraro tonight is Dennis Bayak. Actually, it is a positive in a way, because if I say anything that anyone doesn't like, that would be Ray's line in this script tonight, so you can keep that in mind. Truth be known, what happened with Ray is he had a fire in his house a couple of days ago, and the library portion went up in flames. Both books burnt. Wasn't done coloring the second one. But he does promise to be here next year, so we can all look forward to that. How many times this week have you heard, "Is it hot enough for you?" It's been a warm one. It's been great. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Born and raised in the Winnipegosis, Manitoba area. If you're not sure where that is, it's just north of Fork River and just south of Camperville. So you can look up on the map and go from there. After graduation there was the bright lights in the big city. I moved to Flin Flon, which isn't the end of the world, but you can sure as heck see it from there. Small high school in Winnipegosis, Manitoba. Our high school was so small we couldn't have driver education and sex education the same day because we used the same car. Bev and I have been married, my wife Bev and I, we've been married for 34 years, and people say to me, did you know early on in the marriage that it was going to work? And I thought back and I said, you know what, I can think of an incident on our honeymoon that I knew that this thing was going to work. We were down in Mexico and we were on a trail ride, and she was on this mule, and this mule was kind of wobbly, and he was starting to go down the hill, and the mule kind of stumbled, and she slipped off, and she looked that mule right in the eye and said, that's once. She got back on the mule. They went down another 100 yards, and the mule slipped again, and she fell off again, and she looked that mule right in the eye, and she said, that's twice. She got back on, and the third time the mule really stumbled, and she fell down quite hard. She said, that's 3 times. She reached into her purse, and she shot that mule dead on the spot. I said, honey, you just shot that mule. She looked me in the eye and said, that's once. She's from small town Saskatchewan. In fact, her mother still is going strong in Saskatoon, and it was actually my mother-in-law that introduced me to religion. Until I met her, I had no idea what hell was going to be like. A buddy of mine called me a few weeks ago and said, what are you up to? I said, I'm on a pleasure trip. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm taking my mother-in-law to the airport. But it's great to be here, great to see everyone. We had a great day at Fairview Golf Course today. Al Coates, John Shannon, and Paul Graham, my boss from TSN, we were the foursome. We had to change some rules right off the bat. The first thing we had to do was a mulligan means 3 off the tee. That's all a mulligan means. Not that we were hacking up the course, but as we kept going, they changed the signs from please replace the turf to please returf the place. So that's how bad it was going. But you know, guys get on a golf course and they talk about men things, and Viagra came up, and Paul said to me, he says, can you get it over the counter? I said, I can if I take 2. We had Grant Nicholson and Danny Gare ahead of us, and Danny picked up lunch, so Danny, thank you for that. Danny had a great career in the Western Hockey League with the Calgary Centennials. Went on to play for a number of NHL teams, scored for some. But actually he only played for 2, Buffalo and Detroit, and a great career for Danny Gare. And this was really good for a young guy from Nelson that grew up wanting to be a jockey or a gigolo. Problem was he was too big for one and too small for the other, but anyway, I spent a lot of time in Toronto doing radio for the Toronto Maple Leafs before I moved to Winnipeg. Took me a while to get used to the roads in Toronto. The QEW is quite the highway. I was driving in one day and I got a call from my wife that said, be careful out there. They just said on the radio that there's a car going the wrong way down the QEW. I said, one? I said, hell, there's hundreds of them. But I do live in Winnipeg now, St. Boniface to be exact, and if you're in the area and drive by my place, that would be appreciated. At this time, we would like to recognize our BC achievements for the past season. Surrey Eagles won the BCHL Championship, the first ever Western Canada Junior A Cup, and competed at the RBC Cup. Team BC won the 2013 National Aboriginal Hockey Championships. Fraser Valley Phantoms competed in the 2013 Esso Cup. Richmond Sockeyes Junior B team won the Western Canada Canadian Keystone Cup. Fort St. John Flyers represented BC in the Allen Cup. And provincial titles for this past year, Burnaby Winter Club for Pee Wee Tier 2. Bantam Tier 1 was North Shore Winter Club, Tier 2 Wanda Fuca, Tier 4 was Vanderhoof, and Bantam Female was Terrace. Midget Tier 1 and Tier 4 was Kelowna, Tier 2 was Penticton, and the Midget Female Richmond Ravens. Congratulations to all of them. Senior Male AA was Williams Lake, and the Senior Female A was Kamloops. To all, congrats. And also to those who competed in the U16 and the U17 programs. These are just some of the teams that we congratulate. There are others who had much success this past season. To all of you, well done. And to all the competitors, win or lose, that we hope you enjoyed this past season. competing to the best of your ability. Congratulations to all the BC officials, and a number of officials are here tonight. Those who officiated in provincial, national, and international events, well done. And to all the best to the BC cities that will be hosting major hockey events this coming season. And thank you to all the volunteers who year in, year out lend a much needed support. So thanks to all of you. The BC Hockey Hall of Fame would like to recognize Eric Sorensen, Doug McMillan, and Bruce McDonald. And to make the presentations, please welcome Bruce Judd. Sorry, Brian McDonald. Are the other gentlemen here? Okay, congratulations to all. Each year we have the presentation of the BC Hockey Now Minor Hockey Award. Please welcome the publisher of Hockey Now magazine, Andrew Chong, and selection team chair, David Babich.
Thanks, Dennis. Well, two-time Stanley Cup champ Colin Fraser was a fresh-faced grade 9 student, just 15 years old, when he was named Hockey Now's first ever BC Minor Hockey Player of the Year back in 2000. And since then, 11 NHL drafted players have won the award. Guys like Morgan Riley, Griffin Reinhart, Curtis Lazar, and not to mention Carl Alsner and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who grew up playing at the Burnaby Winter Club. And this year, another player from the club is being honored. He was the 8th overall pick of the Seattle Thunderbirds in this year's WHL Bantam Draft. Many scouts view him as the best defenseman and the best player in BC for his age group. He's an A and B student at Centennial High School in Coquitlam. And he's here tonight with the largest entourage of loving family that I've ever seen. And they're all sitting over there. So to present the award, here's our selection team chair and a BC Hockey Hall of Famer in his own right, Dave Babich. Dave?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. And congratulations to all the 2013 inductees. Nice job. I was asked by Hockey Now to chair the selection committee, and I was thrilled to take part in this. In the selection committee also were a number of WHL scouts and some of the fellows at Hockey Now. So we had a good group and made sure we did this properly. The award, I don't know if many of you have read Hockey Now throughout the season, we wanted to make sure we included every region in BC and put a list together of all top players and top prospects in those regions. We wanted to make sure that we celebrated their accomplishments also. In saying that, the criteria was obviously hockey was a big part of it. Academics were a huge part also, and being a good citizen in their community and a good citizen, in family and so on. This year, we found a player that exemplifies all that, and we're happy to call Dante Fabro 2013 Minor Hockey Player of the Year.
put this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, inductees to the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. First off, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Wilson, Mr. Recchi, Mr. Korea, Mr. Crawford, Mr. Patterson, and the 93, 94, 95, 94, 95 Kamloops Blazer Hockey Club for being inducted to the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. I hope someday I can contribute like all of you have to make this such a great sport. It's an extreme honor to be here tonight to be receiving this award. I'd like to thank BC Hockey Hall of Fame and the Hockey Now for having this award and presentation. I'd like to congratulate all my fellow nominees who I played with and against all year. You guys have been great competitors, sportsmen, and most of all, great friends. I look forward to hopefully playing with all of you on Team BC representing our province in the U16 Western Canadian Branch Challenge in November. There are a few people that I'd like to recognize for helping me over the years. The Burnet Winter Club and Len McNeely for making it such a great place to develop as a player. My coaches, Bill Hunt, Matt Earhart, Kevin Peterson, John Calvano, and last but not least, my Benham AAA coach for the last 2 years, John Batchelor. Your countless volunteer hours and commitment made us get better as players and most importantly as individuals. I understand why your alumni come back and help out your program. I will be back and I say thank you very much. To my friends, teammates, managers, to my grandparents, uncles, and cousins for being such great role models, supporters, and positive influences in my life. To my sisters, Gina and Sophia, thank you for stop putting dresses on me at age 3 and playing hockey with me in the garage instead. Mom and Dad, words cannot say enough for what you've done for us. Your time and commitment that you make, to allow us to play such elite sports. Dad, thanks for the talks in the car to and from the car rides, or to and from the rink. Mom, thanks for the hugs after the car rides with Dad. In closing, I'd like to thank Andrew Chong and the Hockey Now for this award, and I look forward to pursuing my hockey goals. Thanks.
We're not letting him off that easy. We have a couple questions for this young fella. If there was scouts in the building, and I know there are for some NHL teams and for other teams, describe yourself as a player.
Like as a hockey player? Or? Okay.
Unless you're a player elsewhere too, but we're not going there.
Okay. A two-way defenseman that can play in that contributes quite a bit in the offensive zone.
Have you sat back and thought about how your life is going to change over the next 5 years?
Not really, but it's. I'm sure soon it'll be quite a shock to me. I'm not really adjusting to it yet right now.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And Hockey Now, the magazine, will donate $1,000 on behalf of the Burnaby Winter Club to Kids Sport Burnaby. So thank you for that. This time, the BC Hockey Hall of Fame would like to honor recipients of the Patricia Carter, the Dunk Jameson, and the Okanagan Hockey Pioneer Award. The Patricia Carter Award is presented annually to an individual from BC to further his or her education. Please welcome Scott and Daryl Carter.
I'd like to call up Cody DePork as this year's winner. Cody played for the Penticton Vs.
The Dunk Jameson Award is presented to an individual who displays their dedication to the game and the enjoyment of the sport of hockey. Please welcome Neil Jameson.
Thank you very much. Shall be a man of fewer words than Scott Carter. Tonight's recipient of the Dunk Jameson Award is for a person who has persevered and volunteered over a long history of hockey and given their best for making the game better for the people in their own community. So that was what my father was all about, and he loved the game and he loved the people that he was around, and the game made him a better person, and he hoped to make people better through the game of hockey. So tonight we'd like to call up Don Klepp. Congratulations.
Thank you. You're going to say a word?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, there are thousands of hardworking volunteers all over this province. And so in honor of them, I'd like to accept this award and share it with them in spirit, if not in physical form. And I want to thank the BC Hockey Hall of Fame for this opportunity to be recognized as one of those thousands of hardworking volunteers. I have another thank you, and that thank you is to Duncan Ray and the Vernon Vipers for being allowed to be part of that organization, and in particular to be allowed to express myself in ways that I dreamed of as a boy. And one more thank you, and that is to Hockey Canada. Hockey Canada has awarded the 2014 RBC Cup to Vernon, British Columbia. Yeah. So we hope to see, if not all of you, as many of you as we possibly can, May 10th to 18th at Keltire Place in Vernon for the 2014 RBC Cup, and I promise you it's going to be the best ever.
We'll call Andy Oakes up for our next award, the Okanagan Hockey School Pioneer Award, presented to someone who has demonstrated a commitment to community hockey and by helping young players attain their goals and aspirations. Andy.
Thanks for that, and I definitely won't be as quick as Scott. This award is a special award. We've only handed this award out twice in the history of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, and it goes to somebody that we recognize as a real leader and game changer in the community of BC hockey. And I'm gonna take a little bit of time here to read you a little story about a lady by the name of Karen Wallace. In the early 1980s, Karen Wallace was a hockey mom with 4 kids in the great Canadian game, but she was struck by a glaring disparity that girls in the system were an afterthought. Compared with her boys, Karen's daughters had little opportunity to advance and little to shoot for. Still, she threw herself into a supportive role, helping with their minor hockey programs. In 1985, she took her advocacy to another level, taking on the directorship of female hockey for the province. Female programs were sorely lacking at that point in time, so Karen toured BC, helping to start jamborees and camps and convincing parents that hockey was a great choice for young girls. With her grassroots encouragement, novice teams within the province of BC started to spring up. She wrote a manual on how to organize and grow the girls' game for all of the province's minor hockeys to use and utilize. She also tiered the senior division in the 1989, and in 1989 brought the Women's National Championship to BC for the first time. After that, Karen brought her vision to the national stage, and in 1990 she was elected to chair Hockey Canada's Female Council, representing the needs of female players, Karen was a game changer at this point. She won the approval for girls hockey to play in the 1991 Canada Winter Games, where 13-year-old Hayley Wickenheiser scored the gold medal winning game, the game-winning gold medal winning goal. With prospects at an all-time high, registration shot up 40% in our country for female hockey. Karen set her sights still higher on Olympic glory. She and Female Council put together a compelling case for the inclusion in the Olympics. Canadians were showing that women could play and contribute in the at the Olympic stage. It was time for equal opportunity. In 1992, 100 years after the first organized females game was played, they were accepted as a full medal sport. Ahead of the 98 Nagano Olympics, Karen proceeded with the development plan. She brought girls into the program of excellence, developed regional camps that allowed the girls to participate in the high performance, and in 93 she sat on the high performance policy committee. Player development, coaching, events, and marketing were all the key issues. Karen also developed a leadership and media training guide called the Role Model for players, coaches, officials, and council members. In 93, Karen launched the National Under-18 Championship, gaining the participation of all 10 provinces. She then had a hand in 2 international women's events, the Pacific Rim Championship and the Three Nations Cup. The 1990s was a period of unprecedented growth of female hockey. From 90 to 97, under Karen Wallace's leadership, enrollment more than tripled, and the national women's team won every major international competition, including 3 world titles. The rest of the world looked to Canada's female program as the leader. And in 1997, midget girls competed for the first time for the championship of BC. The novices who started under Karen's guidance had now grown up, and recognizing Karen's legacy, Hockey Canada bestowed on her its Female Hockey Breakthrough Award in 1999. So today, when girls get to lace up, they do so with big dreams and big goals because of the work of people like Karen Wallace and what Karen contributed to the game. Karen, congratulations, very well deserved.
Yes, it's true. I was a hockey mom and I had 4 children playing. And when Bruce Allison, who is the president of the BC Amateur Hockey Association in those days, phoned me up and he said, "Karen, I want you to help. Got to do something with these girls." And I said, "What girls?" And he said, "We got to do something about hockey for the girls." And I said, "Okay, I'm not too sure about this." But I did see, as it was said earlier, there wasn't much of an avenue. My girls wanted to play, or one of them did. I put her into figure skating. She hated me. And as soon as that first year was over, it was like, I want hockey skates. I want to play hockey. And that's how we were introduced to it, and that's how I got into it. My dream and my goal was to have any child or girl who wanted to play to be able to lace up her skates and play along with everyone else. And it brings my heart great joy when I can go across this country. And I was just in Saskatchewan, and I was talking to a cousin of mine who said, "I have 3 junior girls teams at the arena," and he says, "I'll do anything and everything for them." And that never would have happened years ago because it didn't exist. And when I see it now and I see that there's hockey and young girls playing all across the country, it makes my heart proud, and I'm so thankful. Thank you to BC Hockey Hall of Fame for recognizing this. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations once again to all. There's new divisions in the National Hockey League next season, and the Winnipeg Jets, the team that I broadcast, will be one of those affected as we move into a Western Conference division. And when they announced the divisions, being a huge country music fan, once they announced that Nashville was in our conference, nothing else mattered as far as I was concerned. So I grew up, as I mentioned, in Winnipegosis. Our radio station was CKDM in Dauphin. Saturday nights they had Amateur Hour, which really developed the career of Freddie Furlanchuk and his Four Fine Feathered Fiddlers. They were from Fork River. That was the one that was just south of Winnipegosis. And on their last album, you may remember some of their big hits. She had tears in her ears from lying on her back in her bed crying over you. I used to kiss her on the lips, but it's all over now. She was only a moonshiner's daughter, but I loved her still. Get your tongue out of my mouth because I'm kissing you goodbye. It's tough to kiss the lips at night that chewed your butt out all day long. The number one hit in 1967, Come Out to the Cornfield With Me and I'll Kiss You Between the Ears. And then, of course, the one that was dedicated to all the sheep farmers, There'll Never Be Another You. The great thing with country music is if you play it backwards, you get your horse back, your truck back, your dog back, you're sober again, your daddy's out of jail, and your mama never got run over by the freight train. So, but you know, as we get older, they really need to change the titles and some of the words of songs. And you know you're getting older when every morning you wake up and you have more face and less hair to wash. So, and some of us have gone through that. But you may remember some of these hits. Remember the Hermits? And put up a little bit here if you can with my singing. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely walker. Kenny Rogers, this is to all those who drive scooters. You picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel. Ringo Starr, I'll get by with a little help from Depends. Willie Nelson, on the throne again. I just can't wait to get on the throne again. And, of course, the famous Buddy Holly song, All of my lovin', all of my kissin' sure feels different with your top teeth missing, oh boy. Boston Pizza has been mentioned. Boston Pizza has been a terrific supporter of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame and hockey not only in BC but across this country for many, many years. We'll call up Stan Smeel at this time, please, as Boston Pizza will make a donation to Canucks Place.
At this time, Boston Pizza, George and Jim couldn't be here, and they asked me to thank all the people that support Boston, the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. And this time, Stan would like to say a few words, and thank you, Stan.
Thank you, Bruce. This is a weekend that many of us in BC hockey community look forward to. It's an opportunity to recognize an elite group of individuals who've excelled in our sport and helped preserve a strong legacy of hockey in our province. Tonight is a chance for me, personally, to help celebrate the careers of friends, colleagues, and those that I've watched over the years. It's also an opportunity to congratulate these 5 individuals and accomplished teams on behalf of the Vancouver Canucks. Our organization values a strong history of hockey in the province and is dedicated to helping to continue to recognize and tell the stories of those who have made an impact through their careers in the game. Those being recognized tonight are being done so for their individual accomplishments, but also for inspiring others to get involved in hockey. Because of what you have done for the game, I am sure that the rich history of hockey will continue to grow with future generations in our province. Once again, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees for 2013. Thank you.
Just on behalf of Boston Pizza, they are involved in a lot of things, from being the premier presenting sponsor at this dinner to supporting families and schools for their BP Lunchbox program, to encouraging students to be the best that they can be, and then recognizing them for their positive contributions, to recently, on behalf of Boston Pizza and their loyal customers, donating over $50,000 to flood relief in southern Alberta. So thank you to Boston Pizza. It is time now to begin our 2013 Hall of Fame inductions. Let's begin with the 1993, 94, and 94-95 Kamloops Blazers.
Winning championships wasn't exactly a new thing to the town of Kamloops in the 1980s and early 90s. Since moving there in 1982, the franchise had won 4 WHL titles and a Memorial Cup in 1992. The 1993-94 Blazers were led by the likes of Darcy Tucker, Rod Stevens, and Jared Dooling, not to mention younger players like Jerome McGinley and Shane Doan. After winning both the Scott Monroe Memorial Trophy as regular season champs and the President's Cup as playoff champions, the Blazers traveled all the way to Quebec to represent the West in the Memorial Cup. Most experts figured one of the teams from the Q, Chicoutimi or Laval, would come out as champions, but the Blazers had a confidence instilled by their head coach, Don Hay. Team member Jason Strudwick would later tell the Oilers Nation blog about a pre-game speech given to the team before its opening game of the tournament. Strudwick said, "He gathered all of us in the dressing room and held up a stick with white tape down one side of the shaft. He explained we would each write the name of who we were playing for on the stick and explain why we chose that person. I've never been involved in a more emotional team bonding experience. There was no way we could lose that cup. The squad took that message to heart and rolled right into the finals against the hometown team from Laval, and the journey wouldn't end there."
The West is best. The Blazers are champions.
Darcy Tucker would be named the tournament's MVP. Fittingly, considering he had just been drafted by the Montreal Canadiens, who played just down the road. It was a tremendous achievement, but it didn't take long for the team to realize now the pressure was really on, because they would have to defend the cup a year later on home ice. Again, the Blazers tore right through both the regular season and the Western Hockey League playoffs. Their mission was simple: keep the cup.
I remember you saw the Keep the Cup stickers all over the town and all over the city. That was the slogan for the Kamloops Blazers that year, keep the cup.
After cruising through the round robin, the Blazers were just one win away from doing just that.
The stage is set for a showdown, the likes of which may never have been seen, as Kamloops trying to make history this afternoon.
John McKinley backhand, solid save, rebound, they score! Darcy Tucker. Keep the cup was the slogan here. They did it and more.
This was Kamloops' team winning the Memorial Cup in Kamloops. It was a great moment the day that they won, and obviously in the weeks afterwards.
The impact the Blazers continue to have on their community really can't be measured. They've made a lasting impression there and in this province. The BC Hockey Hall of Fame is proud to induct the 94 and 95 Memorial Cup champion Kamloops Blazers.
At this time, please welcome the President and General Manager of the Kelowna Rockets, Mr. Bruce Hamilton.
Well, I would just like to, on behalf of the Western Hockey League and the Kelowna Rockets and the Hockey Hall of Fame, of course, congratulate these two great teams. It's a very difficult thing to do now, is to win back-to-back at any level of hockey, and I would just like to call upon Bob Brown to accept this tonight.
Well, a few things have changed since the last time I was here. I don't know if you people really noticed the tight security coming in. I was searched walking through. They went through all my clothes, pulled out my notes for tonight. I had 30 pages. I don't have any. They've changed the music. The music will play when I'm to leave, and it'll also be accompanied by the bouncer. And so I'm going to just fly by the seat of my pants here, and hopefully I can keep it short. I've been threatened at least 3 times by Bruce tonight, so I intend to keep it short. There are several players here and coaches and part of the management team that I'd like to be recognized. If they would please stand. Stu McGregor, who is Assistant General Manager. Don Hay, head coach. Terry Bangan, assistant coach. Ed Dempsey, assistant coach. The legendary Craig Spike Wallace, trainer. Tyson Nash, Ryan Huska, and Brad Lukowicz. I'm sure there are a lot of players that would like to be here and we're not able to, but they send their best wishes for the ones that couldn't come, and hope that we enjoyed the night. You know, the Kamloops Blazers would like to thank the BC Hockey Hall of Fame for the induction of the 2 Memorial Cup teams, which will in turn be joining with the 1992 team, which was entered earlier on a few years ago. You know, the history of the Blazers in a 10-year period appeared in the Memorial Cup 6 times, and winning 3 Memorial Cups, and 3 of them in 4 years, is something that may never happen again. But if it does, Bruce, you know, it would be one team I'd like to see win, and that'd be Kelowna. So, you know, to win a championship, it takes a very good management team, coaching team, and players. And we had a great mix there in Kamloops. And it's something that we're proud of. I know Stu would echo the same thing, and Hazer, that, you know, we were there to ensure that the boys had every opportunity to fulfill their dream, which is to play in the National Hockey League. A lot of them have. Mark Recchi was one, Scotty Niedermeyer another, both inducted in the Hall of Fame, and many others that are famous, have done really well. But they're the players that maybe had the long minor league careers, and there's the ones that entered college after they're finished, have gone into the business world and have done very well as teachers, accountants, financial people, and police officers. Those are the ones that make us proud, that we are able to fulfill the dreams and at the same time put young men into the community that you'd be proud of to have them as your son. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations. Our next inductee, Colin Patterson.
When it comes to hockey, Colin Patterson has done and seen it all. Growing up in Kimberley, he got a taste for the game at a very young age. At 3 years old, Colin, along with his older brother Alan, played at the intermission of a Kimberley Dynamiters game. And it would be a sign of things to come for the younger Patterson, who would later go on to play for the senior team in 1967. Patterson's minor hockey career included playing for the Cranbrook Juveniles and Canucks, as well as the Notre Dame Knights in Nelson, BC. From 1963 to 1967, Patterson played hockey at Michigan Tech, and in '65, he helped the Huskies win an NCAA championship. Soon after his playing career ended, Patterson moved behind the bench and started a long journey in coaching. His first job would take him all the way to Switzerland, where he coached the Langnau Tigers of the Swiss National League. Soon he would find work a little closer to home, coaching the Junior B Cranbrook Colts of the Kootenay International Hockey League. Success came quickly as the Colts would win 4 straight league titles and 2 provincial titles between '72 and '75. In 1979, Patterson found more success as head coach of Team BC at the Canada Winter Games in Brandon, Manitoba. That team won BC's first ever gold medal in hockey. And later that year, Patterson was named the British Columbia Amateur Hockey Association Coach of the Year. His knowledge was so sought after that in 1985, he helped write and develop lesson plans for the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, which was the predecessor to Hockey Canada. From 1970 to 1995, he owned and operated the Alpine Hockey School in Kimberley. And in '93, Patterson was awarded the Gordon Jukes Award, given to an individual who has contributed significantly to amateur hockey at the national level. He has coached everywhere, from Tokyo to Moscow and the Netherlands. In 2009, he led the Peterborough Phantoms to the English Premier League hockey title, winning Coach of the Year for his efforts there. But Colin would also find time to come back and coach in his home province of BC. He served as an assistant coach with the WHL's Kootenay Ice, winning the Memorial Cup. There, he made an impression on current Ducks assistant coach, Brad Lauer.
A lot of the things that I learned from him, the drills, the little teaching things, because players want to get better every day. And that's one thing that he taught me, is that you can never stop coaching, stop teaching them. And even at this level in the NHL, players want to learn, players want to develop. And, I use a lot of his drills today.
But maybe his most satisfying years have been the ones coaching all 3 of his boys, Jeff, Brad, and Shane. Patterson continues to make an impression on young kids interested in the game, and he now spends all kinds of time teaching his grandson, Eli, all about our national game. A dedicated hockey man from our province. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Colin Patterson.
Would Ernie Gare please come forward to make this presentation?
Boy, those lights. Okay. First of all, I'd just like to thank whoever it was that put my name forward. And I'm glad that the BC Hockey Hall of Fame decided my criteria would fit the agenda to get in, because I'm getting with a very select group of people, and I'm thankful for that. In my coaching career, I have a lot of people to thank, as you can see on the little video, starting with my parents, who encouraged us to play the game, and as we grew older, make our own decisions, and very, very supportive of what we did and how we did it. So I'd first of all like to thank them. as I got going on further in my playing career, there are many coaches that I think molded myself into who I was as a coach and a person, including Bill Jones, who many of you in here might know. I had Ernie Gare Sr. at Notre Dame, John McGinnis, a famous coach in the U.S. at Michigan Tech, George Kingston, that I played for at the University of Calgary. And I think you need those type of people to encourage you and mold you into what you are. As I ventured into my coaching career, of course, you want to get involved in minor hockey and all these various aspects of the game. And to do so, you know, in those days, I encourage you through Dave Andrews and Bob Nicholson in the BC Hockey Development really encouraged me to get into the coaching fields and the coaching clinics, which I did, and I'm thankful to them, but very thankful to the people that used to speak at those conferences, like Claire Drake, George Kingston, Don Hay is another one, Tom Rennie, and I'm sure all of you, including people like Mark Crawford, have gone out of their way to encourage coaches, and they give you the information you need to take back and make your players better. And unless they were willing to spend a lot of their time, and it's valuable time, but they used to keep coming out, you know, year in and year out and help our BC program, which I'm very thankful for, and they also helped develop me, mold me into who I am today and the coaching aspects of the game. So I like to thank all of them, as well as the many individuals from the BC Amateur that were involved in the developing of our coaching program and our coaching clinics. And if you knew the fun we used to have, you'd realize my next statement. When I first heard about being notified about getting into the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Ernie Gare phoned me and explained to me that I was up and was going to be able to be inducted into this famous BC Hockey Hall of Fame. And you know, I hung up the phone and thought, that's really great. And then he said, you can't say anything for about 3 weeks. I said, that's fine. He said, and then we'll get back to you. So when they finally did announce it, I happened to pick up a paper and I thought, that Ernie Gare is pulling something on me, because our group of guys in the BC at that time were always playing these little tricks on people. And I read the newspaper and it said that I had, first of all, had an NHL career. And I thought, something's wrong here. It said I had coached the Tri-City Americans, and I thought, my brother did that, but it wasn't me. And so I started thinking, you know, something's up here. I thought he had really twisted me. But really, Bruce Judd phoned, and I found out I was in, and I'm very thankful for that. I also have to thank the many people I've come in contact with through the minor hockey that were great, the coaches and the management, and a lot of people I was involved with really helped me along the way. The coaches I had as assistants were great, but more so the players. You know, I've had a lot of players, well, not a lot, but I have had players that, you know, have gone through, we haven't had any complaints with, and I used to make up some drills, and if they didn't go very well, they would laugh, but I'd always say, well, I got that from Don Hay, that drill. It's not very good. No, Donnie, you're okay. But, you know, it's those players that have gone on, and I'm very proud of the ones that have played in the NHL, American Hockey League, the minor pro leagues, have gone on to college scholarships, and I'm very proud of them. But I'm also just as proud of all the players that I had that played with me that have gone on to become, you know, doctors, lawyers, dentists, business people, and really come back and volunteer into our community. I really always said that, you know, coaching hockey is more than just developing the skills of the game. You have to also develop their a little about their social life, how they can interact with people and get along with others. So they were as important to me and made me who I am and helped me get to where I am here today. Also the parents. I keep reading stories in the papers about how parents nowadays it's tough in minor hockey, and I can look back and really say I don't think I really had a confrontation with any parents in my coaching career, with minor hockey and that. So I thank them also. I really want to thank also when I got into the major juniors at the Kootenay Ice, I was involved with some great coaches there that taught me a lot, and it filtered down, and they accepted me as old as I was. They still accepted me, and we got along really, really well. The last group I want to thank is my family. I have 3 boys, Shane, Jeff, and Brad, and they were brought up in the hockey atmosphere, played a little, but have gone out and ventured out and are doing their own little thing and very successful at what they do. And lastly, I'd like to thank my wife, Janet. She is at home, as coaches' wives know, manning the fort and doing all those things, and very supportive and not complaining. So I'd like to thank all of them. Also like to thank the BC Hockey Hall of Fame Committee for putting on this excellent show, and to thank the other inductees, Mark Recchi, Mark Crawford, Paul Correa, and Nancy Wilson. So again, and thank all you people for coming out, my family and my friends that are here to support me. I thank them, and I thank all of you.
Our next inductee, Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson loves the game of hockey. It has always been central in her life. It started at age 12 in London, Ontario. Her first team, the London Sportettes. Eventually, Nancy made her way to the University of Western Ontario, where she played from 1975 through 1977 and served as captain of the women's varsity team. There, she played for the well-respected coach, Dr. Bill LaRue. Nancy credits Dr. LaRue as her first bona fide coach. LaRue taught her the X's and O's of the game, but perhaps even more importantly, he instilled a passion for the women's game that is very strong to this day. After graduating from the RCMP in 1980, Nancy found herself in BC's Lower Mainland. She continued playing for various women's seniors teams till 1990. After her playing days finished, Nancy wasn't really looking to coach, but one day in 1992, she was asked to fill in for a coach who was sick. Nancy quickly discovered her new passion, coaching. That same year, Nancy was invited by BC Hockey to join Tom Rennie and the men's national team in Kamloops as a guest coach. There, Rennie took the time to sit and talk tactics with her, an experience that proved to be invaluable. Over the next few years, Nancy took any and all opportunities to coach, including the Cloverdale Colts, a boys' AAA team. She also led Team BC at the 1999 Canada Winter Games. In 2002, her path led to the Vancouver Griffins. There, she coached the likes of former Canadian national player Nancy Drolet and future Hockey Hall of Famer Cami Granato. In 2003, Wilson served as president and head coach of the BC Breakers of the newly created Western Women's Hockey League. Nancy was driven by a desire to help the women's game grow here in BC beyond the university level. Wilson has also coached at the highest level with Hockey Canada. In 1998, she served as an assistant coach to the national junior team. She won a gold medal at the Air Canada Cup in 2007, gold at the 07 Four Nations Cup, and she was part of a staff that won silver at the 2008 Women's World Championship in China. Nancy has used her tremendous experience to help grow the women's game around the world. From Japan to Kazakhstan, Wilson has given knowledge to parts of the world where the game is still in its infancy. Here at home, she has helped build the women's game in British Columbia from the ground up. Her time as a coach, instructor, administrator, and mentor has brought the women's game to levels never seen before. For these efforts, Nancy Wilson now becomes the first ever woman to be honored as a member of the British Columbia Hockey Hall of Fame.
We'll ask Bernie Pascal to please make this presentation.
Tonight is hockey history in British Columbia, the first female inductee to the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Nancy Wilson.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So the thing to do here is to try to get off the stage without crying. I want to thank BC Hockey Hall of Fame executive for this amazing honor, in particular Bernie Pascal and Bruce Judd, who have done an amazing job in putting this event on. I also want to thank the Okanagan Hockey School, who hosted an event for us last night, and it was a great opportunity for my family and friends to meet the other inductees' families. When I began playing hockey many, many, many years ago, I could never have imagined the journey I've had, nor the honor that I'm receiving tonight. I'm especially proud and feel very privileged to be the first woman selected to join the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. I've worked with some amazing people. Many of them are here tonight. This award is a celebration for all of us who have been involved in the game, the growth of the game, and who love hockey. I'd like to congratulate the other inductees, as well as your families, Mark Crawford, Mark Recchi, Paul Correa, and Colin Patterson. Your accomplishments during your amazing careers has inspired many people, including myself. Also, congratulations to Don Hay and the 93-94, 94-95 Kamloops Blazers team. I'd also like to congratulate Karen Wallace, who really paved the way for players such as myself. She was a pioneer for sure, and she did an amazing job. Congratulations, Karen. Since receiving the call, and I'm sure this is the same with the other inductees, since receiving the call of the news of my induction, I've spent a good deal of time reflecting on my hockey career, and I was reminded of the many people that have been part of my journey, my teammates, coaches, young players, and those people that have supported my efforts along the way. I'm joined tonight by many friends, both new and old. Some I served with in the force. Others are players, coaches, and also neighbors from this beautiful valley that I live in. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to join us tonight and help us celebrate this great evening. I'm especially happy to have my brother, Brian, and his wife, Nancy, and my twin sister, Susan, here tonight. I think my parents actually might be even listening in on this, but they weren't able to make the trip. According to my brother Brian, he's responsible for my start in hockey. My brother was a goalie, and he needed a shooter, so I became his shooter. He was a pretty good goalie, so I needed to be a pretty good shooter. He allowed me to tag along with him to play road hockey with his friends. The only rule was I wasn't allowed to cry when I got hurt. I never understood, though, Brian, why you guys were allowed to cry when you got hurt. My sister Susan, who didn't particularly like hockey at all, has been my biggest fan and support for as long as I can remember. Susan, you've been a part of my journey every step of the way, and a very important reason as to why I'm standing here tonight. Through hockey, I formed some incredible friendships, and as luck would have it, hockey is also responsible for introducing me to the love of my life, Mike. You're an amazing person, and I feel very blessed to have you in my life, Mike. When I was young, there were no leagues to play in. There was no boys' teams possible to play on at that time, so my mother steered my sister and I to figure skating. I recall one of the officials telling me, my mother, that her girls skated very well, but you have one that skates like a boy. My mother took offense to this, but I reassured her that this was actually a compliment. Over the past 45 years, I've been very fortunate enough to have been part of the development of the women's game and witnessed the evolution of it from a scattered, poorly organized recreational program to a highly organized international sport. To see where the women's game is today, not only in Canada but around the world, is something that I could never have imagined. To play for one's school and receive an education, to experience a national championship, to do color on TSN or at an NH hockey game, or above all, to represent your country at the Olympics was never part of my wildest dream. Each generation of player and coach has raised the bar just a little bit and will no doubt continue to do so. In 1977, I was invited by the Mississauga Indians to travel to Finland to play against their club teams. The arenas over there were packed. And their very first game, I recall that we were beating them by a very large score. And so we decided to cut it back a little bit. We didn't want to embarrass them in front of their friends and families. Between periods, their coaches came to our dressing room and they asked us to play as hard as we could. They wanted everyone to see women playing at the game at the highest level. When we left Finland, 2 representatives from Canada stayed behind to facilitate discussions on growing their game. And years later, we're doing exactly the same thing. But now the United States, Sweden, and Finland are all working with us to mentor teams that want to grow their game. Working with Team Kazakhstan has been an amazing thrill. They're where Finland was in 1977 and where we were in the early 1960s. They have less than 300 girls playing hockey in their country, but they're determined to grow their game. We don't speak the same language. We have very different cultural backgrounds, but when it comes to hockey, we seem to all speak the same language, and somehow we make it work. The IIHF initiative is a remarkable example of what can be accomplished when egos and agendas are set aside for the common good. After playing the game for 25 years at what was then considered the highest level, it was just a natural step to take into coaching. I'm so grateful to BC Hockey, Hockey Canada, and UBC for giving me so many opportunities to grow and be involved in the game. Although I wasn't part of a generation that would have the opportunity to play for my country, I was given that opportunity as a coach. And working with Team Canada was as big a thrill as you can imagine. From my first opportunity in the 1990s as a guest coach with Tom Rennie and the men's national team to my last coaching experience with the 2008 World Championship, I've always felt like I was part of something that was so special and so important to our country. While with Team Canada's junior and senior teams, we won our share of medals, but it was the friendships and the experience I've had while working with incredible athletes and coaches that will never be forgotten. I want to thank the staff of BC Hockey for all their support. The staff has changed considerably since I started in the program, but each person that I worked with of BC Hockey always brought with them a great work ethic, and a joy for the game. In particular, I want to thank Bill Ennis of BC Hockey. I don't know anyone that is as committed to the development of our game as Bill. He's been a good friend and a mentor to me for many years. I had the opportunity to work with Bill with our women's team at the Vancouver Olympics, and what a thrill that was. Had Bill known that the girls had gone onto the ice with their cigars, I'm sure he would have joined them. Working alongside other volunteers in our province to develop the high performance program has been one of the most enjoyable experiences of my life. It's taken time, but under Bruce Tuck's guidance over the past 10 years, our provincial program has made significant improvements. Developing a U14 program allowed us the opportunity to influence the attitudes of players and parents towards off-ice training, along with developing individual skills. These things don't happen overnight. This past 2012 National Under-18 Championship was an opportunity to move off the bench and work as the Director of Operations with my good friends Sylvain Leone, Nat Christensen, Christina Sharon, and Pascal Valena. That was a great experience. Being able to work as a full-time coach at UBC, to see the players every day, was a dream come true. And to work in such an amazing facility as UBC was even more special. I want to congratulate UBC coaching staff and the team from this past year. They had a very successful season. Last year was certainly a step forward for women's hockey in our province. We are a great hockey nation because those that have experienced the game give back and help those coming up through the various programs. And I've been very fortunate to have had many mentors who have helped me along the way. Two such people are here tonight, Cam Kerr and Doug Cousins. Both have been incredible role models and have always taken the time to listen to me put things into perspective. Mel Davidson is someone else that has always been available to talk about the game and is also someone who was tireless in her efforts to grow our game. I've witnessed many of the three-step forward, one-back scenarios in women's hockey, but I have no doubt if we're patient and continue to allow the game to develop, that there will be a professional league. And I know that that's what many of the women that are playing at the highest level want more than anything. Earlier this evening, I had the opportunity to walk along the upper hallway and was reminded of those who have been inducted in years past. I suddenly felt very small and extremely humbled to be joining such an elite group of hockey greats. Dr. Leroux once told me, when you're finished playing the game, it will be your responsibility and those of your teammates to give back and do your part to grow the women's game. I promised I would give back, and I hope in some small way I have kept my promise. There are two people that I haven't thanked yet, and that's my parents, who I think are listening. Mom and Dad, when I was 12 years old, you allowed me to play hockey when it really was not fashionable to have a little girl playing the game, especially with women 10 and 20 years my senior. You allowed me to live my dream and have continued to support me throughout my life. Thank you. I want to thank again BC Hockey Hall of Fame for this amazing honor, and I congratulate again all of the other inductees, and I want to wish you a very good night. Thank you.
We're going to change gears for a couple of moments. Bob Nicholson is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Hockey Canada and also a Vice President with the IIHF. And we're going to call Bob up right now for a short Q&A on just some hockey questions that are on my mind and perhaps on the minds of a lot of you. And just a little story about Bob and his wife Lorna. On Thursday, Bob was going out golfing for about the 6th straight day, and Lorna was kind of getting a little bit concerned about this, and as Bob left about 2 in the afternoon, she was sitting on the deck with a chilled bottle of wine, and Bob came back about 5 hours later, and Lorna was still sitting on the deck with his chilled bottle of wine. So he was a little apprehensive, and finally he hears, "I love you," and he pauses for a moment and he says, "Is that you or the wine talking?" She says, "It's me, but I'm talking to the wine." Bob Nicholson.
It's nice to be with you, Ray.
Thank you. The question, I guess, that was on my mind, and I'm not sure how much of this you can tell us, is the delay for the Sochi agreement with the National Hockey League. What were some of the issues that took so long to get resolved?
Well, it takes me back to 1998 when we were in the shootout, and Mark Crawford was trying to figure out who was going to do the shootout. Paul Kariya was the best player in the game, and he got injured on a hit from behind, and we had to name Mark Recchi to the team. And it was pretty easy, Mark, when you look at it today. Paul Correa would have been in the shootout. We should have put Mark Recchi in the shootout. We would have won that game, and it would have been easier to get this deal done. I wanted to get that out of the way there, Crow, just so you don't have to confront with that all night. But no, you know what? I was very fortunate or unfortunate to be involved in the negotiations through SOCI here, and we did it, Brian McDonald, we did it on the Fairview Golf Course where it got done last weekend. But we're in many, many meetings, and the issues haven't changed. But certainly the numbers have, and when you look at it from the NHL Players Association, they have to make sure that players are insured. The NHL owners want to make sure that their assets are looked after. Travel is so different. We have to make sure that we get over there. We'll only have 1.5 days to practice before the event. And then you have Russia. Russia is different. Everyone wanted to do this. And as I watched that, I was in the meetings with the IOC, the NBC, NHL, NHLPA. Everyone gave a little at the end to make it work, and you know what? It's so great for Canadian fans. We're going to have best on best in Sochi, and more importantly, I think we're going to get into discussions in the next month or so to have a whole new international program. I think we're going to see NHL All-Star games against KHL All-Star games. I think we're going to see a lot more international activity, and I think that's just great for the game. It's great for the players, great for coaches, and you know what? It's unbelievable for hockey fans.
Bob, how difficult is it as players and coaches who are all head coaches or star players with their teams, and yet they come to the Olympic program and everyone kind of has to take a bit of a back seat?
You know what? That's something that we really try to start at the under-17 program. I love it. Just talked to Brent Sutter yesterday, and we're going to go into the World Junior camps here in Lake Placid, and we're not going to put names on the back. We're going to put Canada. And if every player, every coach, all the management walk through that door and only have one goal, you're going to play for your country, you're not going to play for yourself, you can get the job done. But I tell you, that is such a difficult situation for us in Canada. And you saw this week that we named 47 players to our camp in Calgary, and all 47 of those players are all-stars, and most of them are playing 20-some minutes. And the coaching staff, Mike Babcock, will have to figure out which players that are used to playing 22 minutes can play 6 or 7 minutes. And that's a difficult situation because most of these superstars have never been put in that. But I think we're starting to figure that out, and you have a leadership of Steve Yzerman. I think that'll work.
Bob, you mentioned Brent Sutter in the World Juniors. Last year, Sweden made it all the way to the gold medal championship before they lost to the United States. They were maybe a surprise team. They are the host team this year. How difficult is that going to be for Canada to come back with gold there?
Dennis, the World Junior Championship is the main program for Hockey Canada. It's tradition in our country at Christmas time, and, everyone thinks of the programs in shambles. Well, we won a medal for 15 years in a row. Every other country would celebrate that. This year, we didn't win a medal. So, you know what, we're looking at making changes, and we are making changes here, and one of the major changes that we're looking at is we have a new management group, and in fact, Bruce Hamilton with the Kelowna Rockets is on that management group with Sean Burke to really look at how we can make this better. And you know what, Brent Sutter is the right guy. He's won 2 championships. He's never lost a game. He Subway Series. So we really feel that we have those 3 people along with Scott Salmon to get us back where we want to be. But we have to take it step by step. It'll all start here in 10 days in Lake Placid. And it's about getting the team better, making sure that everyone understands at that level that there's no egos, that you have to play for your country. And when we go over to Sweden, you know, it's going to be difficult in their country because there's not just Sweden, but there's 6 other teams now that want to challenge Canada to win that gold medal.
Final question, how special is this night for you?
You know what, Dennis, it's pretty neat to come back here to Penticton. This is where I grew up. I played all my minor hockey here, and I continue to come back, and I continue to look at all the inductees. And when I look behind me at the inductees tonight, what a great group. Mark Recchi, Paul Correa, you know, a couple of the greatest players to play. Mark Crawford, you've left your mark here in Vancouver as a coach and as a person. Colin Patterson, I still owe you a couple dollars for writing that initiation program that 40 countries are now using around the world. And Nancy Wilson, you know, this is every year. And to Scott Carter, who started this, this is special. And you know what? We're going to even make it better in the years to come.
Bob Nicholson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Bob.
Just a reminder, the silent auction will close at 9 o'clock, so you have a few more minutes to take a look at those items. And while you're doing that, we are going to start our live auction. Our auctioneer is Darren Wassilishin from Work Fleets, and he's going to come forward now, and we're going to get this going. We have spotters out on the floor, and we will start our live auction, and I will give you a rundown of what the auction items are once we are set and ready to roll.
Thank you, Dennis. Something I'd like to do is just point out why we have this auction every year. We have a great organization, and we also have a great charity that we're going to try to raise some money for. So please keep that in mind. There's some great auction items that have been donated by a lot of people. Let's raise some money tonight for the charity. And with that, I think we're ready to go. Let's get started. I'm coming down into the crowd, so get ready.
Item number 1, the Toronto Maple Leaf package. This package has been getting great reviews from the past purchasers as a first-class event. It includes return airfare for 2 from Vancouver or Kelowna, lodging for 2 days at the Westin, dinner at the Real Sports Bar, and 2 lower bowl tickets and dressing room walkthrough. We thank Dave Notice and the Toronto Maple Leafs for this one. Take it away, Darryl.
You betcha, Dennis. This has been a very popular item. How much and go? What do you want to bid on it? Toronto trip. I think last year this trip brought somewhere around $5,000. So someone start me out there. Bid it to the $5,000, bid it to the $5,000, bid $5,000, bid $5,000, bid $4,000. It's your trip. I'm going to let everybody get involved here. Someone start me out right at $1,000 then. $1,000. You haven't even bought one flight at that. $1,000 right here. Thank you. One bid of the $1,000. Do I have it at this table right here? The $1,000 is right here. $1,000. Thank you. And now 2. I'm at 1 bid of the 2. 2. Thank you. Now $3,000. I'm at 2 here. Now 3. 2 bid of the 3. Would $2,500 help you, sir? I'm at 2 bid of the $2,500. I'm at 2 bid of the 25. Bid of the 25. It's hard to see the room, so point your hands up. 2 here, bid of the 2,500. I'm at 2, bid of the 25. 25, thank you. I have 2 here, you're 25, right? 2,500? 25. And now 3,000. I'm at 25, bid 3,000. 25, bid 3, sir. I'm at 2,500, now 3. 2,500 at the back of the room there. Now 3,000. 25, bid of the 3, bid of the 3,000, bid 3,000, bid 3,000. Would $2,750 help you, sir? That wouldn't help you. 25 now, $2,750. How about you? You want back in? $2,750. Look what you're getting. And remember, this is for charity. 25 out of the $2,750. I'm going to have to sell it. I'm $2,500, but you got $2,750? Thank you. And now $3,000, sir. $3,000. I'm $2,750 on this side of the room. And now $3,000. Bid it to the 3, bid it to the 3. One more time, sir. You just about had it bought. 2750 bid of the 3,000. I'm gonna sell it. 2750 bid of the 3,000. Anyone else? 3,000. And now 3250. On 3 here, bid of the 3250. On 3 bid of the 3250. You want back in? 3 bid 3250. $3,250. I'm gonna sell it. 3250. Now 35. 3250 bid of the 35. 35. You want back in at 3,500? 3250 bid 35. 35. 35. You don't have to ask for permission. 3250 bid 3,500. Are we all done? Sold it out, $3,250. Thank you, all parties. What do we got next, Dennis?
Our next item, Sutton Place, downtown Vancouver. Stay where the stars stay, this luxurious 5-star hotel, a romantic getaway for two nights, accommodations in the Grand Suite, dinner for 2 at Francesco's, daily breakfast at the Sutton Place Hotel, 2 tickets to the Vancouver Canucks game, and daily parking all included. Our thanks to John Sander for this. Darryl.
All right, here we go on the romantic prize, ladies. Where do you want to start it? How much? Let's go. How about 1,000 and go? Bid it to the 1,000, bid 1,000. You guys start me out. It's your sale. Tell me where you want to be. How about $500? 5, thank you, and now 1,000. I'm 5 here, bid at 1,000. I'm 5 right here, bid at the 1, bid 1,000. 5, bid at the 1,000. I'm at 5, bid at the $1,000. 5, bid at the 1,000. Would 750 help you guys out? 750? And 1,000. I'm 750 here, bid 1,000. 750 bid at the 1,000, bid 1, bid 1. I'm 750 over here, now 1,000. You want in? I'm at 750 right here, bid at the 1,000, bid 1, bid 1, bid 1,000. 750 right there, make no mistake, now 1,000. I'm at 750, bid at the 1, bid 1,000. You're out over here. I'm at 750, bid at the 1,000. Have you decided yet? 750 bid at the 1,000. 750 bid at the 1, bid 1. I'm gonna sell it. I'm at $750. 1,000. Thank you. And now 1,250. I'm 1,000 here, bid at the 1,250, sir. Come on, get back in. 1,000 right here. Now 1,250. I'm at 1,000 bid at the 1,250. You can take your girlfriend or wife. 1,000 bid at the 1,250. There you go. 1,250. Let's go. Come on. I'm at 1,000 right here. Now 1,250. Did you say yes? He said no. I'm at 1,000 bid at the 1,250. 1,250. I'm gonna sell it. Hey, I'll tell you what. Mickey just asked me if somebody from the Canucks could get us into the dressing room or something. Let's get some money for this charity. Maybe not. That'd be a good deal if we get it. I'm going to sell it. I got 1,000 here. Anyone else? Sold it, $1,000. Thank you very much. What do we got next, Dennis?
Next up, a framed autograph, original inductee picture, an artist rendering of this 2013 BC Hockey Hall of Fame inductees. Only one of these will be created. And this is compliments of Glenn Clark. Only one of these will be created.
I just got one question. Anyone that has their picture on this print, can you please stick your hand up right now? All right, how much and go? Beautiful, one of a kind. Start me out, you guys. Where do you want to be on this? Let's go $2,500 and go. 25 out of the 25 out of the 25. This would be great for anybody's man cave, and it will hold its value. $2,500, bid out of the 25, bid out of the $2,000 on the print, limited edition. 2,000. How about 1,000 and go? I cannot believe it, you guys. Look at this print. It's great memorabilia. 1,000 and go. 1,000, bid 1,000, bid 1,000, bid 1,000, bid 1,000. I can't believe this. 1,000. How about $500 and go on the print? 500. Thank you. And now 1,000. I'm 500 right here with this nice young lady. I bet you're going to give it as a present, right? You bet. 500 bid of the 1,000. I'm at 5 bid of the 1,000. How about 750 and go then? I'm at 500 bid of the 750. 750, 750 bid 750. I'm good. 750. And now 1,000. I'm at 750 bid of the 1,000. And now 1,250. I'm at 1,000 bid of the 1,250. I'm at 1,000 bid of the 1,250 bid 1,250 bid 1,250. I'm at 1,000 bid of the 1,250. I'm going to sell it. I'm at 1,250 and now 1,500. I'm at 1,250 bid of the 1,500. You've been with me all the way. You need it. 1,500. 1,500. 1,500 and now 1,750. Thank you. 1,500 bid of the 1,750. You're out back here. I'm at 15 bid of the 1,750. I'm at 15 bid of the 1,750. I'm at 1,500 bid of the 1,750. Going once. 1,500 bid of the 1,750. I'm going to sell it to this nice girl here. Sold it. $1,500. You bought it. Thank you very much.
Well done. 2010 Olympic men's gold jersey, autographed by the gold medal team. This is rare. Crosby, Keith, Aginla, Luongo, and more. And this is courtesy of Hockey Canada, a 2010 Olympic men's gold jersey autographed.
All right. How much and go? The jersey's right up there, autographed and ready to go into your memorabilia. How much? Start me out somewhere. 1,000 right here. Thank you. And now 1,500. I'm 1,000 right here now. 1,500. 1 bid of the 1,500. 1 bid of the 1,500. Bid of the 1,500. 15. Thank you. And now 2, sir. I'm 15 right here. You're out now 2. I'm 15. Bid of the 2. 2 bid 2. 2 bid 2. 2 bid 2. 2 bid 2. Would 1,750 help ya? 15 here, 1,750. I'm at 15, bid of the 1,750. I'm at 15, bid of the 1,750, bid of 1,750. Would 1,600 help you? 15, bid of the 16. 15, bid of the 16, bid 16, bid 16, bid 16. Are we all done? Sold it out right here, 1,500. Sold it out, 1,500. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Thank you, Darryl. And thank you to everyone that helped with the money that was raised on that auction. Again, it all goes to a very, very good charity. One hockey chapter that came to a close in June was what to do with the Vancouver Canucks goaltending situation. Corey Schneider, of course, dealt to the New Jersey Devils, leaving the number one job to Roberto Luongo. And despite the competition, the two of them were and remain very good friends, and as we see in this TSN piece, they made the best of the situation.
It's one of the feel-good hockey stories of the season. Roberto Luongo and Corey Schneider.
All right, smile, guys, smile.
Two-star goalies who have put egos aside for the good of the team.
All right, number one. See you, number one.
We get along great. Nobody cares who's number one. We're not petty like that.
Hey Lou, you got a 6-letter word? Clue is opposite of to move forward.
Back up.
Yeah, that fits.
Roberto's just such a generous guy. He doesn't even care about this whole who's number one, who's number two thing.
Schneider, hey. Got you something, man.
Oh, thanks, bud. I really appreciate that. It's really nice of you, I guess. Oh, come on, man. Are you serious?
The media blows this number one, number two thing out of proportion. It's irrelevant to us.
Go ahead, man.
No, you go first, man.
No, I insist. Go ahead.
Okay.
Come on! At the beginning of the season, people said, how could two ultra-competitive guys who want to be in the net every night coexist? But they've made it work, showing a level of maturity and professionalism seldom seen these days.
Number two?
Nope. Number one.
You guys just seem like such good pals. Corey, you must have loved it when Roberto did his poetry. People just ate that up.
Human eclipse, rhinoceros hips. Who will laugh last when I slash your calf? Bring me peace, make it cease. Get your big ass out of my crease.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, he's just so talented and funny. That should have been me. I would have been so awesomer. Louie, phooey, phooey. There's a reason Corey rhymes with glory and Lou rhymes with number 2.
Nice.
Huh?
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just thinking about the 6-8 he made the other night.
Okay.
And Roberto, it must be great for you to have someone you get along with after that horrific incident in Florida when Jamie McLennan was jealous and ran you over with his Zamboni.
Yeah, man, that was a really difficult time for me, but Schneids and I, we're like brothers. Brothers.
Little help here. Could use a trainer.
Looks like Lou is starting tonight.
Now, there was another development of sorts in the Roberto Luongo saga. It is kind of interesting that a player with a contract that pretty much will take him to the end of his career decides to change agents, as Roberto Luongo has now teamed up with Brisson and Barry. So we'll see what transpires out of that. A couple more stories, then we'll get back to the inductees. No banquet will be finished without a heaven story. And 3 guys arrive at the pearly gates, and St. Peter meets them there and wants to know how all 3 of them got there. And the first guy says, well, I thought my wife was fooling around, so I came home at noon unexpectedly, and I thought I could smell cigar smoke. And he says, I searched everywhere. We lived up on this 13th floor condo. I couldn't find anything, and I went to the kitchen for a glass of water, and I look out the window, and I see a guy down below smoking a cigar. In a rage, I grab the fridge. I throw the fridge out the window. I get a heart attack, and here I am. So St. Peter says to the second guy, he says, how did you get here? He says, well, I'm walking along the street. I feel like a cigar. Kind of windy, so I duck up against this building to light my cigar. I hear a commotion. I look up. I see this fridge coming. Can't get out of the way, and here I am. Says to the third guy, he says, and how did you get here? Third guy says, there I was, minding my own business inside this fridge. And this is my all-time favorite story of the teacher that got sent up to a predominantly Ukrainian area, and I can tell Ukrainian jokes because I'm Ukrainian. And he really had trouble with the pronunciation, so he tells his students, I want you to go home tonight, break your names down to the different syllables, come back tomorrow, and that way I can help learn how to pronounce your name. So the first kid comes back the next morning, gets up. He says, my name is Manuel Dirksen. He says, you take a M-A-N, you got your man. You take a U, you got your U, you got your man-U. You take your E-L, you got your L, your U-L, and your Manuel. You take your D-E-R-K, you got your Dirk, your L, Dirk, U-L, Dirk, your Manuel, Dirk. You take your S-O-N, you got your son, your Dirksen, your L, Dirksen, U-L, Dirksen, your Manuel, Dirksen. Next kid gets up, he says, my name is Samuel Johnson. He says, you take your S-A-M, you got your Sam. You take a U, you got your U, you got your Sam-U. You take your E-L, you got your L, U-L, and your Samuel. Take your J-O-H-N, you got your John, your L, John, U-L, John, your Samuel, John. Take your S-O-N, you got your son, your Johnson, your L, Johnson, U-L, Johnson, your Samuel, Johnson. All the way around, the last kid in the class gets up, he says, my name is Archibald Esselbrook. Says, you take your A-R-C-H, you got your arch. You take your I, you got your arch-I. Take your B-A-L-D, you got your bald, your eyebald, your arch-eyebald. Take your A-S-S, you got your ass, your bald ass, your eyebald ass, your arch-eyebald ass. Take your H-O-L-E, you got your hole, your asshole, your bald asshole, your eyebald asshole, and your arch-eyebald asshole. Take your B-R-O-K-E, you got your broke, your hole broke, your asshole broke, your bald asshole broke, your eyebald asshole broke, and your archibald asshole broke. But you can call me Archie for short. We have 3 more inductees in the 2013 class, so let's continue. Congratulations, Mark Crawford.
Mark Crawford was born in Belleville, Ontario in 1961. As a junior player, he helped the Cornwall Royals win the 1981 Memorial Cup. The Vancouver Canucks drafted Crawford in the 4th round of the 1980 entry draft. As a rookie, he was part of a Canucks team that made a run all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. When asked why he thought he was being inducted into the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Mark was quick to reply, "I think it was all those big goals I scored." After 6 seasons and 19 career big goals, Crawford retired, which opened the door to his true calling, which was coaching. In 1991, Crawford was named coach of the AHL's St. John's Maple Leafs. There, he found success immediately, guiding the Baby Leafs to the Calder Cup final. After 3 seasons with St. John's, Crawford was named the head coach of the Quebec Nordiques in 1994. In his first season there, he won the Jack Adams Award as the NHL's top coach. That franchise moved to Denver, Colorado the following season, and Crawford took the Avalanche all the way to the Stanley Cup final, and unlike his first experience in the final, this time his team ended up on the winning side.
Ewing group shot, score!
Crawford would spend 4 seasons with that franchise, never once missing the postseason. In 1998, Crawford was named head coach of the Canadian Olympic team at the Nagano Olympics. And later that year, Crawford would take over as head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. In his years behind that bench, the Canucks became one of the most exciting and successful teams in the NHL.
Falls down center, score! Daniel Sedin! The Wonder Twin powers activate again. It's 5-2 Vancouver.
Vancouver was consistently one of the top regular season teams in the NHL. Starting in the 01-02 season, he went on a run of 4 consecutive years of 40-plus wins. Off the ice, Crawford and his family had found a true home in Vancouver. Brian Burke, his then general manager, encouraged him to get involved with the community. Mark took that message to heart and dedicated himself to many community programs. Crawford was involved in establishing a reading program that helped kids to learn and love reading, similar to the one that he was involved with in Denver. Programs like Canucks for Kids and Canuck Place all benefited not only from his involvement, but also the involvement of his wife, Helen. Crawford coached for 6.5 seasons in Vancouver, setting a franchise record for wins with 246. He would go on to coach the LA Kings and the Dallas Stars, and now he's the man behind the bench for the Zurich Lions of the Swiss National League. Crawford and his family still return to their home in North Vancouver in the off-season. It's not only what Mark accomplished behind the bench in Vancouver, but also what he did in communities all over this province of BC that sees him go into the Hall today. But we'll just tell him it was all those big goals he scored. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Mark Crawford.
Would Andy Moog please come forward to make the presentation to Mark Crawford?
I've had the good fortune of working on 3 of Mark's staff over the last 15 years, and it always amazed me that the passion for our game is displayed in every day Mark shows up at the rink, and I really appreciated that. The other thing I appreciated about Mark, and it speaks to the person, is his love and commitment to his family, and I admire that from Mark, and I'm glad to call him a friend.
Thank you very much, Andy. It means a great deal to receive this award from you. Maybe now we know Andy's been involved with me in 3 staffs. I've been fired all 3 times. Could have something to do with it. No, he's just a great guy. I first of all want to congratulate all the other inductees. You know, it really is wonderful to be here tonight and to hear the great stories of Colin and to hear the great stories of Nancy. And certainly I know being here with Paul and Mark Recchi is a great, great honor. I told all my buddies here that I thought I was being inducted as a player. I really did. I thought when I heard the news, and Andy was the one that called me, I said, boy, they must have really liked that goal I scored against Doug Keynes that night against Los Angeles. That was the one. And I've used the line all week. I hope you guys don't mind, but I've said, between Paul and Mark Recchi and myself, between us, we've got 1,000 goals in the National Hockey League. But I really do want to thank the BC Hockey Hall of Fame Committee for giving me this great honor, for giving my family this great honor, and for recognizing the work that I've put in. 33 years ago, I was drafted by the Vancouver Canucks, and it was one of my first plane rides coming out to training camp here in Vancouver, and I had no idea just how beautiful this part of the country was. And I remember coming in that early September day, and the weather was like it is now. It was a gorgeous, gorgeous time, and just seeing these mountains. I mean, I'm from the east. We think our idea of mountains and your idea of mountains are totally, totally different. And it was just wonderful to come in. And in those days, we used to go to Duncan for our training camp. And Norm Jewison, who's been with the Canucks forever, Norm was one of the first guys that I met. And one of my first things was at training camp, I had a roommate. My roommate was Dennis Kearns, who's also an Eastern Ontario guy. And that first night we're lying in each our bed in the room in the Duncan Hotel. And at that days, they used to have the channel changer that was, you'd stand up and you'd turn it. So my whole job that week was Dennis would say, could you change the channel? I'd like to watch this show. I want to see Bernie Pascal. I want to see the sports. So I was the remote control for the room that week. But it was good. I got to play with wonderful players. I got to play with guys like Stan Smeal and Harold Sneps and all the great players that played on that team that went on that run in the 1982 season. It was really a magical run. We were coached by just tremendous people, really guys that have helped to shape me as a coach and as a person. I think back of Harry Neal being that coach, and his assistant was Roger Nielsen. And I think of the unselfishness that he showed. He was suspended, and Roger took over, and we just caught fire. And I always have been amazed by Harry's unselfishness of allowing Roger to keep going, because he knew things were going well with the team, and he didn't want to disturb the success that the team was having. And, I've learned so much from that initial team, that one, that you win with character, because that team was filled with great character people led by our captain, Stan Smeal, and all the other great players. So many of the players on that team went on to enjoy careers, coaching, management. Colin Campbell's now running the National Hockey League. So many good people on that group. So you win with character, and that really came through. Roger Nielsen, as our coach at that time, I don't think there's ever been a more organized man in the history of the game. And we always had the feeling that we were more prepared than the other team. And that's something that I always tried to take from Rogers. It's one thing to be prepared, and most teams are prepared, but to be organized and prepared is even that much better. And for Harry, the message of being unselfish and making sure you put the team first. I mean, nothing came stronger than his ability to take a back seat and allow the team to keep flourishing that year. And I've used those lessons as we've continued to grow on. As you do know, I'm not going to bore you. I told my buddies also I was going to come up here and I was going to explain all 19 of my goals, because I can if you want to try me. But, I know I'm in here because more for what I've done as a coach and what I've done in Vancouver. And I'm so thankful that later on in my career in Vancouver, It was the Pat Quinn era. Brian Burke was the assistant general manager. And I got hurt in a training camp in 1987. And I'd played most of the year with the club the year before. And they called me into the office again in Duncan. And they had told me, listen, we want you to consider going to our minor league team. We want to make you the player assistant coach. And at the time I left the meeting, and I was really, really troubled by it. And I remember going home and talking to my wife and talking to a couple of players. And I said, I still think I'm a good player. I still think these guys don't think I can play. They're going to just send me away. And the late, great Larry Ashley, he recognized that I really wasn't getting the message. So he had told me, Mark, why don't you drive down tonight with me? So we drove down from Duncan. The team was playing in Victoria. And the whole way down, Larry talked to me about what a great opportunity this was going to be for me. That these guys recognize you have coaching instincts. They recognize that you have the makings of someone that one day will be a good coach. And Larry really did, I think, get through to me that that this was really a very, very positive thought. And I look back and I'm so thankful for his advice that day. I'm so thankful to Pat Quinn and to Brian Burke for getting me started in the coaching profession, because as a player, you always wonder what's going on. What's going on in the coach's office? What's going on in the management office? And as still a young guy, I was getting an opportunity to sit in the meetings with Pat Quinn, to sit in the meetings with the coaching staff, and I started to really get a feel for why they did things and how they did things, and I really took to it like water. And I am so thankful for that. As time went on, I kept up in the coaching ranks, had a couple of great opportunities, and eventually had a chance to get my first coaching job in the National Hockey League. And it's funny how it goes. I remember getting interviewed in the old Pacific Coliseum. Pierre Lacroix had just taken over for Quebec. I was in Vancouver at the time because I was coaching the Leafs Farm Club, and that was that great run that the '94 team had, and they beat the Leafs that year in the semifinals. And again, I got my interview in the Pacific Coliseum, so it's funny how things go. As it turned out, ended up being with the Nordiques and then on with the Avalanche, and we won the Stanley Cup. And when we won the Stanley Cup, our most important victory was against the Vancouver Canucks. That was the '96 team, and that was the last hurrah for really that group that had been so good in '94. And we had a tough series against them, but we found a way, we persevered, we won in 6. And we were led by, obviously, one of the greatest players British Columbia has ever produced in Joe Sakic. And I think Joe scored 3 game winners, including one in overtime on Game 5 where he scored a hat trick. So BC's been a big part of the success that I've had. And I'm so thankful to have Joe as a player. And it was such an important victory for us because it got us started. And then we kind of kept rolling and we got on that roll. And it was so nice to finally win. Because I won, and we won the Stanley Cup, I was given the opportunity to coach the Olympic team in 1998. And what an honor. I remember getting the phone call from Bob Clark and Bob Nicholson and hearing that I got the job. I had to pull off the highway. I was so taken aback by, the fact that I'd gotten that job. And it really was thrilled. And I know Bob alluded to it earlier here today. Paul was going to be a big part of that team. He's one of the best players in the league at that time. And I know he suffered the concussion, and he tried right till the very, very, very last minute. And we held off, and we held off, and we held off right till while we were still in Nagano, because he wanted to play, but in the end he couldn't, and we're very sorry we couldn't get him. But then Mark came in as his replacement, and then Mark played such a big part in that team. And like Bob said, I get a lot of credit, a lot of criticism, a lot of great speaking notes from having coached that team, but it was an experience that I really, really cherish. And one of the best things about that is that Hockey Canada does this evaluation after it's over. And I know that when they won in 2002, Pat Quinn had alluded to the fact, like the guys before him had done such a good job of evaluating. And that's something that I use in my coaching now. You have to be prepared, but again, you have to evaluate and continue to reevaluate forever. And I've learned that from Bob Nicholson and Hockey Canada, and that was something that I was very thankful of, and it was very nice of Pat to credit our coaching staff in '98 for the preparation that we had done for them the next time around. Because I guess I didn't have success and lost my job in Colorado, it opened up other opportunities. I got to work for Hockey Night in Canada and John Shannon and Paul Graham, who are here today. Did a TV bit with them. Great opportunity. Allowed me to see things from a different perspective, and I really enjoyed that. But most of all, I enjoyed the fact that I got the opportunity while I was working with Hockey Night in Canada to come back and coach the Canucks. And I've coached 4 teams in the National Hockey League, but it was so special to come back to Vancouver. I played my entire career with the Canuck organization. A lot of people will say it's because they really wanted me. I think it was nobody else did, so that's why I played my entire career with them. But it was so neat to come back and see all the familiar faces. Whether it was the broadcasters, Jim Houston at the time, John Shorthouse, John Garrett, Jim Robson. I mean, it was so neat to come back. And I got a chance again to work with people that I had played with. Glenn Hanlon was an assistant for me along with Stan that first year. They really helped make the transition very easy for myself and my family. And it really was like coming home again. We had a lot of good years with the Canucks. And I'm so thankful to Brian Burke and to Dave Nonis and to Steve Tambellini for their mentorship and their guidance while I was with the club. They were great guys to work for. They always supported me and our staff and our players. And then I totally appreciated all that they did for us. We had a lot of laughs. We had obviously some very good success, and we had some very, very hard losses as well. But that's really kind of what life is about. I'm thankful to all the people that work for the Canucks and just how many great friendships I made there. Whether it was the trainers, Pat O'Neill, who's still there, or Mike Bernstein, who's still there, they really represent now, along with the broadcasters, what the Canucks are. Like, people really identify when you come into an organization with those people, and they do such a terrific job of making everything good on a daily basis, and I wanted to make sure I had a shout out to them. But most of all, you have success because you have good players, and I was really blessed in Vancouver with having great players. And whether it was the West Coast Express line of Brendan Morrison, Todd Bertuzzi, or our captain, Marcus Naslund, they were just a magnificent line, and they were exciting players, and I enjoyed coaching them, and it was really neat. One of the most special moments that we had there was when we brought Trevor Linden back, and I thought that to be a part of that and to see how much Trevor meant to the Canucks and all the Canuck fans, it was really neat to be a part of it. And he was such a great character guy. He had great character when he first came into the league, and he showed it right to the end. And he's very fitting to be up on the Canuck Hall of Fame and have his sweater retired. There are so many players that I could mention, that were special, but I really, really enjoyed my time with the Canucks. It was nice to see how they have stayed fairly consistent with their people. It's nice to see how the Sedins advanced. You know, my last year here, they really had advanced. They were our best players at the end of the season. They really were. And, you know, to watch Alex Burrows grow, and to watch Ryan Kessler grow, and to watch Kevin Bieksa grow, and to see what great character that they show, that really makes me proud, because I know that, as I said earlier, character really wins, and these guys exemplify that on a daily basis. But what I'm most thankful for is that, you know, I was able to do all of this in such a beautiful, beautiful place. British Columbia it's great for the beauty, and I'm happy that I got to raise my family here in BC. We spent 7.5 years as the Canuck coach. I spent, you know, 9 years as a player, and always dreamed about being able to own a place here and live in the nice spots in Vancouver, and I do. So I'm very thankful for that. But hockey is a great game, and as all the other inductees have said here tonight, one of the best things about it is it brings you to places that you like, and it introduces you to so many great people. And you know, it's not just people within the game, but it's also the friends that we've made outside of the game, the friends that we've made from our kids' school, the friends that we've made from our kids' sporting endeavors. And many of them are here tonight, and I want to thank them for making the trip up to Penticton this weekend to celebrate with my wife and I for this. I want to thank my family, because my wife was the one that had to endure the bad losses. She saw the highs of the elation of the victories, but you know, she also saw the real lows of the losses. And my daughter, who I'm so proud of, she's an athlete at the University of British Columbia, plays on their volleyball team, and I'm so proud of her as I see her every day. I'm happy that she's here with me. My son couldn't be here today. Great young goaltender in his own right, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching him play his career all the way along. I'm happy that we get to call Vancouver home. I'm so happy to see the connection that I have with the hockey public here in BC. It is very humbling. I am very thrilled to be honored by being in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I thank the committee for this honor, and I hope everybody has a great night here today, and thank you again.
Our next inductee, Paul Kariya.
Born in Vancouver in 1974, Paul Kariya started playing hockey at the age of 5. Growing up, his idol was Wayne Gretzky, and much like the great one, Paul would spend hours practicing in his backyard. Unfortunately, due to significant puck damage, the shed in Kariya's backyard is no longer around. He wore it out with his shot. But years later, it was Kariya's playmaking skill that would be compared to his idol Gretzky. And Paul's skill to find the open man came to him at an early age. As a young centerman, he joined a team that already had an older, more experienced boy playing at the same position, and Paul was asked to move to the wing. He was unsure of the move, but his mother, Sharon, told him all about the opportunities that he would have to go into the corner, fish out the puck, and set up the older boy to score. Paul earned the valuable skill of playmaking, with a big assist from Mom. At the age of 16, Paul moved to Penticton to play for the Penticton Panthers of the BCJHL. In 2 seasons with the Panthers, Kariya twice won the Vern Dye Memorial Trophy as conference MVP. At 18, Paul decided to head to the University of Maine on a hockey scholarship, and his success continued with the Black Bears. He scored 100 points in just 39 games as a freshman, winning both Hockey East Rookie and Player of the Year. He also became the first freshman ever to win the Hobey Baker Award as the best player in NCAA hockey, and to top off an already spectacular season, Kariya led the Black Bears to an NCAA title. In the summer of 1993, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim made Paul their first ever draft pick. Taken 4th overall, Paul didn't disappoint. He was named to the NHL's all-rookie team, leading the Ducks in scoring, and that was just the beginning.
Ducks steal it here. Shot, score! Paul Kariya, number 50! First time in franchise history.
The 02-03 season saw the Ducks make a magical run to the Stanley Cup Finals. Although they lost a hard-fought series in 7 grueling games, Kariya showed the heart of a champion.
Kariya, the fans want one.
Kariya would go on to play for the Colorado Avalanche, the Nashville Predators, and the St. Louis Blues over his 15-year career. He scored 402 goals and 982 points in exactly 982 career games. Paul played for Canada's World Junior team twice. He was the youngest member of the 1992 squad, and then in 1993, he helped Canada win gold. He played in 3 World Championships, winning gold in 1994 when he became the youngest player to ever play for Canada at the Worlds. And he was a 2-time Olympian, winning silver at the '94 Olympics in Lillehammer and, of course, gold in 2002 in Salt Lake City. Paul officially announced his retirement from the NHL in 2011. The 2-time winner of the Lady Byng Trophy for most sportsmanlike player will always be remembered for the pride and passion he brought to the game of hockey. And now he will also be remembered as an honored member of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Kariya.
To make the presentation to Paul, we'll call on Bob Nicholson.
Well, Paul, welcome back to BC and welcome back to Penticton. As I stated before, Paul Kariya was one of the greatest players to play the game, represented Canada so many times. And Paul, the one thing that we still got to conquer in this game is to make sure that we make the game safer, we get rid of concussions, and I look forward to doing that with you. And so great to see your mom here. But more importantly, Paul, welcome to the BC Hockey Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start by thanking Bruce Judd for all his hard work in organizing such a fantastic event. My mom and I will never forget this experience. I would like to congratulate Nancy Wilson, Colin Patterson, Mark Recchi, Mark Crawford, and the Kamloops Blazers for all their incredible achievements in the game of hockey. Thank you to Bernie Pascal and the entire BC Hockey Hall of Fame for giving me this amazing honor. When I look back at the BC Hockey Hall of Fame inductees, I'm reminded of how many people were so influential to my development as a hockey player. My first ever hockey school I attended was Danny Gare's Hockey School on Vancouver Island. My teacher at that school was a young junior star by the name of Russ Courtnall. When I was here in Penticton, I used to spend countless hours watching videos of Brett Hull trying to copy his shooting technique. Whenever I was lucky enough to put on the Canadian jersey, Bob Nicholson was there. No team in international hockey was better prepared than Hockey Canada because of you. The World Championships in 1993 were my first chance to play with professional players. I remember straightening the curve on my stick after watching Mark Recchi shoot the puck, and vowing to get into much better shape after watching Rod Brindamore work out after every single game. The absolute highlight of my career was representing Canada in my first Olympics in 1994 as an amateur. Tom Rennie was the head coach. Later that year, we won the gold medal in the World Championships. Joe Sakic took me under his wing and looked after me during the tournament. Joe's been like a big brother to me throughout my career. I had the chance to play under Pat Quinn and Ken Hitchcock and win the gold medal in the 2002 Olympics. During the tournament, I played on a line with Steve Yzerman and on the power play with Scott Niedermayer. As honored as I am to be a part of this prestigious group, the truth of the matter is I wouldn't be standing up here today without the members of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame. So thank you very much. When I look back on my career, I feel very fortunate to have grown up in Vancouver and played all my minor and junior hockey in British Columbia. From my first year as a novice to my last year as a midget, I always had incredible coaches who volunteered their time to help us learn the game and become better hockey players. The opportunities I had to compete against and play with some of the best talents in the province fueled my desire to improve and compete at higher levels. I will always be grateful to the North Shore Winter Club, North Vancouver Minor Hockey Association, and the Burnaby Winter Club for teaching me the fundamentals of the game and the importance of teamwork and good sportsmanship. The most important time in my amateur career was when I came to Penticton to play junior hockey. It was here that I really started to develop as a player under the guidance of Gary Davidson. Gary is an amazing teacher who coached all three Korea boys in our junior hockey careers. I can't think of a junior coach who has sent more players to college on scholarships or had a bigger impact on their lives than Gary Davidson. I want to say a special thank you to Jerry and Roberta Stork, who are with me here tonight. They were my billet family for my 2 years playing with the Panthers and attending Penn High. It's a difficult time for a young hockey player to leave his family at 15, but you welcomed me into your home and made me feel like a part of your family, so thank you very much. I want to thank the University of Maine, the late Sean Walsh, and my good friend Grant Stambrook for giving me the great life experience of being a student athlete. I want to thank the Anaheim Mighty Ducks organization for giving me my start in the NHL. Michael Eisner, Jack Ferrara, and Ron Wilson, thank you for believing in a 5'9", 160-pound kid out of college and giving me every opportunity to excel and prove myself at the NHL level. Thank you to all my teammates I played with through the years, but without a doubt the trade that brought Teemu Selanne to the Ducks was a turning point in my career. Teemu made me a better player and a better person. I would also like to thank the Colorado Avalanche and Pierre Lacroix for giving Teemu and I the opportunity to reunite in Denver and play with such a talented group of players. I want to thank the Nashville Predators, David Poyle and Barry Trotz. Nashville is one of the classiest organizations in the league, and I'm very proud to have been a part of it. And to the St. Louis Blues, Dave Checketts and John Davidson. Thank you for bringing me to St. Louis to finish my career. I truly believe that the talent you brought to St. Louis will one day win a Stanley Cup. I want to say thank you to two dear friends who passed away after long battles with cancer this past year, Gary McKenzie and Don Baisley. Gary sharpened my first pair of skates when I was 4 years old, and he made the palms of my gloves I used in my last NHL hockey game. So for over 30 years, he took care of all my equipment needs, but more importantly, he was a great friend and someone I could always count on to knock me back to earth if my head was getting too big. And to Don Baisley, who guided my professional career for over 20 years. Thank you for all your advice and wisdom. You were never an agent to me. You were my friend, a father figure, and a confidant. My family and I will always be indebted to you. Lastly, I want to thank my family and friends for supporting me through the ups and downs of my career. A special thank you to my sister Michiko, who looked after me since I was in diapers and allowed me to focus 100% on being the best hockey player I could be. Thanks to my girlfriend Valerie for her love and support and for nursing me through some difficult injuries towards the end of my career. Thanks to my late father TK for all the sacrifices he made in his life so that we would have every opportunity to succeed in ours. And lastly, to my mother Sharon, thanks for your unconditional love. countless home-cooked meals, and for driving me to all my home games, practices, and early morning ice sessions. You've literally and figuratively taken me to the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
We've heard from one Vancouver Canucks coach, and the question mark now in Vancouver is how John Tortorella will handle the Vancouver media. We all know that John Tortorella has had some moments, and let's refresh our memories.
They come back in, we can keep growing as a team. That's what we've always talked about with injuries. Whose phone is that? See, I lost my train of thought.
Another guy during the season that you spoke about that's going to be big during the playoffs was Fedotenko because of his 2 tattoos.
That's ridiculous.
After the Sharks' Joe Thornton said the Rangers were probably the softest team we played against, Tortorella predictably fired back.
Joe hasn't won a thing in this league. He could go down as a player, being one of the better players in our league, never to win anything. So what he should do is just shut up.
He's a selfish that's what he is. It's gotten so bad here. He's embarrassed himself. He's embarrassed his organization. More importantly, he's embarrassed his teammates who have to kind of look out for him here now. But it's the NHL. He's embarrassed the whole league. Send him home.
That was Tortorella commenting on Sean Avery's crude and insensitive comments about an ex-girlfriend as a member of TSN's panel. However, a few months later, when Tortorella was named head coach of the Rangers, the team made a waiver claim for the agitator.
Listen, this is going to be really quick. I'm not taking any questions. We sucked from head to toe, and we need to move by it. So I'm not going to dissect it with you guys. I know you have to do your job, but I'm not answering any questions. Okay, so that should finish. It's a cheap, dirty hit. It's just... I wonder what would happen if we did it to their 2 whining stars over there. I wonder what would happen. So I'm anxious to see what happens with the league with this. Just no respect amongst players. None. It's sickening. It's one of the most arrogant organizations in the league. But they'll whine about something else over there, won't they? Starting with their 2 stars. Have you ever fought before? Yeah. You have? Yeah. Why? Are you challenging me now? No, I'm not challenging you. Okay. You know, Redden sticks up for his teammates the other night. Yeah. And you come out with some sarcastic article. It was funny. It was funny? Yeah. Well, you know what? You were probably beat up in the bus stop most of the time. I think so, huh? You're a great representative of the city. You let these other guys... Just go stand somewhere else, would you please? No, I won't.
After Tortorella had to pull John Graham for the 2nd straight game in the 06 playoffs, the Lightning coach showed us how good his math was.
Let's call a spade a spade. That's a tough thing. You need a damn occasional save when that happens, eh? 4 goals and 16 shots. I'm a little tired of the 25% rule. What is the remedy? I don't know how you want me to answer that.
Well, I mean, what do you think you need to do in order to just
play harder? When we play like that for 20 minutes in a game like this, in a back-to-back situation, it's unacceptable. I wish I could give you an explanation about it. I can't.
During the Lightning's 0-4 playoff series with the Flyers, Tortorella unleashed his fury on then head coach Ken Hitchcock for allegedly mouthing off at one of his players.
When it comes to a coach to an opposing player, it's disrespectful and it's wrong. It's gutless. That's got to stop. Park your ego, shove it in your pocket. It's about the 2 teams. I'm not in the battle. I am not in the battle. He isn't in the battle. Shut your yap. What's that? Johnny McLean? You should ask him.
Are you answering no questions or what?
I guess that's what I'm saying, Brooksy. You get that through your head?
I guess so.
Yeah.
It's kind of a waste of time.
Well, then get the out of here then. Okay, see ya.
SportsCenter Top 10 is brought to you by Bodog.net, your trusted source for sports odds and free online poker. Join Bodog.
Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a heck of a ride. Can anybody think of any Vancouver reporters or columnists that might replace Larry Brooks? I think we all maybe can. Our final inductee, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Recchi.
Mark Recchi's resume is hard to beat.
Centering feed, a shot, they score! Mark Recchi's 500th!
He played 22 NHL seasons and ranks 4th all-time in games played. His 577 career goals ranks 19th in NHL history, while his 1,533 points is 12th best ever, and he's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. It all started for Mark in his home province of British Columbia. Recchi enjoyed many sports as a child, but hockey was where he truly excelled. He would play in the WHL as a 16-year-old, and eventually he got the chance to spend 2 seasons with his hometown Kamloops Blazers. In the 1987-88 season, Recchi finished 3rd in league scoring and helped lead his team to the WHL championship game. The Kamloops Blazers would later retire Recchi's number 8. Recchi was drafted in the 1988 NHL entry draft by the Pittsburgh Penguins. That draft class saw names like Modano, Roenick, and Solani also selected, but no one played more games or registered more points than Mark. Not bad for the player taken 67th overall. In 1990-91, Recchi's 3rd season in the NHL, he scored 40 goals and was part of a Stanley Cup run in Steeltown. He would set a career high with 53 goals in 92-93, and over the next 12 seasons, Mark Recchi would top the 20-goal mark 10 times. He was very consistent and had Stanley Cup experience. He was the perfect acquisition for a team looking to make a Stanley Cup run, and that team was the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes.
In front, Recchi score! Mark Recchi has broken the tie!
Mark Recchi was beyond a presence. He was a guy that really knew what a team needed. He knew how to take that litmus test of his team and understand every different personality in that locker room and knew how to get the most out of them. So he wasn't only about his own performance, he was about making the team better and making sure every individual is ready for each and every game.
Recchi would continue to serve as not only a consistent point producer, but also a mentor to young stars in the making, like Sidney Crosby, Ilya Kovalchuk, and Steven Stamkos. He played his last 3 seasons with the Boston Bruins, and in 2011, he was part of one more Cup run.
A long wrister tap score! Mark Recchi on the doorstep, a power play goal!
At age 43, Mark Recchi led the Bruins in scoring that Stanley Cup final. He would retire as a champion. Only 2 BC-born players scored more points in the NHL, Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic. In 1998, Recchi represented Canada at the Nagano Olympics. He is, quite simply, one of the all-time greats. Ladies and gentlemen, inducted into the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Mark Recchi.
And to make the presentation to Mark, we'll call up Stan Smeel.
Three-time Stanley Cup winner, over 1,600 games, put up over 1,500 points. Kamloops native, Mark Recchi.
Stan was my favorite growing up, so it's an honor to have him do that tonight. First off, I'd like to thank the BC Hall of Fame for this amazing award and this opportunity to be here in British Columbia. This is such a great honor, and growing up in BC and coming back here, I spent the week here in Penticton, out at Skaha Lake, rented a place with my kids and my family, and what an amazing week we had. Every time I come back to BC, I just can't believe how beautiful it is, and realize what a special place this really is. And I live in Pittsburgh now, my home's there, but British Columbia will always be my home, and that's where I grew up, and grew up to be a boy, to be a man, and some special memories. I'd like to congratulate Mark Crawford, Paul Correa, Nancy Wilson, Colin Patterson, and obviously our two Blazer teams, who I'm proud to be part owner of. And the one thing I never did get to win was a Memorial Cup, and it's an honor to be around these guys that did get that opportunity. So I'm going to try to win it as an owner now. That's where I have to go. So I have some special people I want to thank growing up in minor hockey. My coaches, Don Moores, Don Bush, who was my power skating coach growing up, Terry Klobuchuk, Randy Rhoda, Grant Evans, Brian McMillan, Brian James, Gord Creighton. They were my minor hockey coaches that really were inspirational to me and gave me the foundation to become a great player and really learn the game of hockey the right way, and they taught me how to do those things properly. So I got to go to juniors. Al Patterson, Colin's brother, he listed me in New Westminster when I was 16. Got the opportunity to go down and play for the Langley Eagles and then the New Westminster Bruins the next year before I did get traded to my hometown in Kamloops. So, Al's here tonight. I got to see him. It was the first time I'd seen him in a long time. It was great to see him. Bob Brown, Kent Hitchcock, Don Hay, who's here tonight. They were unbelievable for me, for the Kamloops Blazers. I mean, they, as well as Don Moores again, were huge at helping me get to the next level. I'm not sure if I didn't get traded to Kamloops, I would have got that opportunity. We had great teams and great players to play with, and they gave me all the coaching I needed. A lot of people doubted me when I was a small guy in a big man's game, and for me to play 22 years is incredible. I never thought I would even, I thought if I got a couple years it would be great. And to be able to play 22 years and have amazing teammates on 7 teams, and I can't thank those guys enough over the course of 22 years. You helped me along, made every experience, every game, every day enjoyable for me. I mean, the game of hockey is the best sport around, and for me able to do that for my livelihood and to do it for 22 years is something I'll never forget. I got a big crew here with me. I got about 24 people, and it just tells you what my family means to me. They're everything to me. I got some of my good friends, Tim and Jen Heighton, and the Hamer Jacksons are here. A couple of great friends from Kamloops and in Vancouver. So happy to have them here. I got my brothers, Michael, Marty, and Matthew. They're here with their families, and it's awesome that they're here and sharing this with me. And they were my biggest supporters, and they were great brothers growing up. Lots of fights, lots of good fights going up with 4 boys. So a lot of holes in the walls. So, they've always been there for me and my biggest supporters, which is unbelievable. So, thank you guys. I've been very fortunate. I've got 3 amazing women in my life. Alexa, who I have 4 kids with, who was a great mother to my 4 children. She's a great person, and it's nice to hear her. Kim, my girlfriend now, who we have 2 children together. She's my best friend. So happy she's here to be here with me and enjoy this experience. It's a great day. The other woman is my mother. She's a special person. She just had her knee replaced, so she's hobbling around pretty good, but she made it down to the dock today. It was awesome. She was my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. She was always quiet about it, never said too much. And she was a great role model to me, and she's such a terrific person. And I'm so proud to have her here, and my dad said she never missed a game. She'd get that TV, and she was glued to it. Well, last is my dad. My dad is my best buddy. He did everything for me. He is definitely what I inspired to be, and I try to be the father that he was to the 4 boys. And he's an incredible guy, and you know, I've had some ups and downs in my life, and he's always been there as my mom, and they've supported me and been there through thick and thin. And you know, I love you guys all very much, all my families. My 6 kids, yeah, it's a lot. I finally figured out how it happened. Got that taken care of. I'm going to go down from the youngest. I got a 13-month-old Brennan. He's not here tonight. He's snoozing, hopefully. He's been keeping us up all night with the time change. But I got my little princess, Isabella. I got my little peanut princess, Samantha, here with me. They were on my lap. They weren't even paying attention to the video. So, and my son, Austin. He's awesome. He's a great little athlete, our music guy. Yeah. Hear my daughters. I got my son Cameron. He's my hockey player. I'm fortunate to coach him. He's growing up to be a little man, as is Austin. They're growing up very, very quickly. And then I got my oldest daughter's 14. Beautiful. That's why I'm going bald and gray quick. No, it's just great to have everybody here, and it's just great to be here in Penticton and at this special. I mean, I can't believe how beautiful. I haven't been here in a number of years. How beautiful this city is, and how welcoming the people are, and it doesn't surprise me being in BC. I mean, that's what BC people are like, amazing people. Lastly, one of the special things that ever happened to me was I started my career in BC, and I know it might be sour point with some people, but whether we won or lost that last game, I got to end my hockey career in BC, and that was one of the most special things that could have happened to me. It's all where it started, and it ended where it started, and it couldn't have been a better day for me, win or lose. And you know, I just can't thank everybody for this great opportunity and this wonderful night, and hope to see you guys soon. I hope to come back and be part of this again and enjoy another week or two in beautiful Penticton. So thank you very much, and thanks to the Hall of Fame again.
While we announce the 50-50 numbers, could we get all of the inductees up on stage, please, for a group photo? And that includes everyone who is here from those 2 Kamloops Blazer teams. I know there's some players here, there's some coaches here, Spike's here. Come on up for a group photo. So while we're doing that, get your 50-50 tickets. The winning number is 485-352. 485-352. Congratulations. Door prize winner is Wade Wagstaff. Congratulations, Wade. And there's a list of silent auction winners, and get all that taken care of financially as well. One more round of applause for this group. Congratulations, everyone. This event could not happen without leadership, dedication, and a lot of hard work. And I would like to ask Executive Director of the BC Hockey Hall of Fame, Bruce Kidd, to please come on stage and be recognized for all his efforts in putting this dinner on. Bruce, congratulations. And to all the committee members that are out there, please stand and be recognized. There's a number of you in this building tonight. And mostly, thank you to you, one and all, for your continued support of this event. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you all next year. Good night.